Yo, Elliot.
Got this question from our buddy Joe, who has a muscular imbalance that I've referred to multiple times in other videos as lower cross syndrome. Right? So this is where the abdominals are not as strong as they should be in relation to the hip flexors. Right? So you got really tight hip flexors, really weak abdominals. And then you also, on the other end of the spectrum, on the posterior chain, you've got really tight lumbar erectors, right? The muscles that help extend your low back, and really weak hamstrings, particularly the upper hamstrings. So what ends up happening is your hips, let's just imagine your hips should look like this, right? If this is your abdominals, these are your abdominals here, right? These are your hip flexors here, right? Right below your abdominals. This is the crease of your hips. And you got your lumbar spine here and your hamstrings here. You could imagine that with weakness here and weakness here and really tight muscle here and really tight muscle here, what's going to happen to your hips, right? Just imagine. Boom. Tight muscles pull, weak allows, weak allows. So he's got one of these situations where the butt sticks up, right? This is the front of your body, butt sticks up. And then what happens there is, among many other things, the low back really, it hurts because that's the muscle. The muscles in the posterior chain are a lot more aggressive than the ones in the front. The muscles in the front of your body have a more susceptible to weakness, especially within your abdominal region, because those muscles in your core, in your abdominals, are really linked heavily with the organs, with your stomach, with your digestive system, right? So the nerves that run through the muscles in your stomach, your transversus abdominis, your rectus abdominis, your internal oblique, namely that in your pelvic floor, get shut down and weak, right? So you've got, they get shut down and weak because of the foods that we eat. Okay, did that make sense? I used the term viscerosomatic inhibition to describe that once before. So weakness in the abdominal region is often tied to the foods that you're eating. If there's inflammation in your gut, you have pissed off organs that are in the same neurological loop as the muscles that support stabilization of the pelvis, you're going to have soft muscles there. That's why most people have big soft bellies. Internal weakness. You get that? And then, but none of that occurs in the back part of your body because the nervous system, it's not linked the same way. Right? These muscles just run up the spine. They're really strong. So what's happening is those really strong muscles that aren't inhibited by organ dysfunction or inflammation tighten up. Boom. So you end up with a really, what they would call a hyperlordosis. And he goes and squats and he's got pain. Now his question is, he realizes now you got to fucking rest. So, you know, he was aware of the muscular imbalance. He knew what he did wrong. He knows that his program is somewhat imbalanced. But now, because of the mistake of squatting without using his abdominals and obviously going too heavy, allowing his body to do what it did in order to create the pain, he's got to rest now. Sucks. Now he's like, he's losing his mind. I can't fucking work out. All I want to do is work out, but I'm in such pain. And I realize I've got to, what he says, pussy up and rest. Well, you're right. You're absolutely right, dude. There's no two ways about it. The most male thing, you know, you say pussy because it's soft, feminine. But a lot of times, the most powerful thing you can do, and this is across the board in all of your life, which requires the most courage, the most strength, the most warrior attitude, is being a pussy. Right? Because it's so far on the other end of the spectrum that if you're imbalanced as a warrior, you're an imbalanced person. You also got to be a little bit of a pussy. And you got to use your attitude as a warrior to pussy up. And I think he understands that. What do you do from here on out? Well, look, dude, you know, it's quite a challenge for even myself. But you've got to set structural integrity ahead of everything when it comes to fitness and strength and bodybuilding and powerlifting, whatever it is that you want to do. Structural integrity trumps everything. When you are, I can't even say that. I'm about to say that when you're young, you can get away with a lot of bullshit. But a lot of you guys are fucking really young, and you're fucking yourselves up, and it's just gonna get worse as you get older. See, I'm getting old now. Yeah, there I go, I said it. I'm getting old now. So the way I used to beat the shit out of myself just don't work no more. Right? So I've gone through all of that, and I understand that you just want to go to the gym, you want to beat the shit out of yourself, you want to squat, and you want to deadlift, and you want to go, because it feels good, right? I mean, I'm still addicted to it, I still love it, I still understand, but I want to do it until the day I die. I always want to lift shit up. I want to be 90 years old and be able to pull a deadlift, at least be able to pull 405, right? I might be like 160 pounds as an old motherfucker, and I'm still gonna pull up that 405, right? That's a pretty good goal, right, for a 90-year-old man. I don't know, maybe I'll do more. But in order for me to be able to do that well into my old age, and for you, whatever age you are, in order for you to do that without fucking yourself up anymore, you've got to pay attention to what I just said. You've got to work on your muscular imbalances. That means the weaknesses in your core, your stomach, and the overdeveloped tonic muscles in your hip flexors and in the posterior chain, namely your lumbar erectors. Corrective stretching. I talk about it quite often. I have an entire course about it down below. Advanced neuromuscular strength. How to assess and correct your muscular imbalances, because it's that fucking important. Can't be the strongest version of yourself with a body that's all out of whack. You could have giant muscles and deadlift 1,000 pounds and look like a big fucking gorilla, and that doesn't mean it's the strongest version of yourself. It means that you've got big fucking muscles and you can pull 1,000 pounds. But that's just one part of the equation. Your muscular system is an outgrowth of your visceral system, your physiology, which is an outgrowth of your energy, your psychology, who you are. So you've got to take these matters into consideration, and you've got to really see it for what it is and how important it is to get your body into balance. The other thing I would invite you to do, and what I do, because corrective stretching gets boring after a while, and also it's not always so organic. When I say that, I mean that corrective stretching isn't necessarily involved with movement. We also want to be able to not only create structural integrity, but we want to be able to move. Does that make sense? Corrective stretching means isolating muscles to stretch and isolating muscles to strengthen, but movement is really what you're after. So forms of exercise like yoga, I would invite you to do at least a couple times a week. Buy a DVD. I don't have any DVDs about yoga, but I keep getting recommendations from you guys that talk about DDP yoga, I think, and several others. But a lot of you guys like this DDP one because I think the guy that created DVDs is an ex-wrestler or something. I watched a couple of them on YouTube, and I was like, oh, I can't listen to this guy. He sounds more aggressive than I am. When I go to yoga, I want a woman or somebody really soft and feminine guiding me through the movements, because it requires, for me, the quieting of my nervous system. That guy's like tough, but anyway. You're gonna have to call it what you want. A lot of you guys are like against yoga because it might make you go to hell or something, right? Like if you're a Christian, like, and you do yoga, all of a sudden, Jesus is gonna whack you with a 4x4. They're gonna go burn in hell because you're worshiping devils, or I don't know, whatever your superstition is. But anyway, the point is, call it whatever the fuck you want, but you need to stretch your body, you need to coordinate that with your breathing, and you need to integrate them with movements that elicit a strength response. It makes you stronger, particularly in your core. So that's it, dude. Done.
Yo, Elliot.